Happy Sunday to everyone. Thank y'all for watching in advance. I want to speak in your life just for a brief moment. I was thinking about relationships, and I had to reflect back on my relationship when I first met my husband 30 plus years ago now. And I have learned some things. It took me a while. I guess you could say I started learning too late. I was in my 50s. And one mistake that I have learned when I was married to my ex-husband is that I never put myself first. I put everything and everybody first. Actually, I didn't even know how to love me. And so after the divorce, I started working on me. And I learned in my 50s that you have to learn and respect the power of love. Just like when Stephanie Mills put out, I have learned to respect the power of love. You know, she had to experience it. She had to go through some things in order to sing that song. So now I understand the respect and the power of love. Because you cannot love nobody if you can't love yourself. And if you don't know how to love yourself, then you still can't love anyone because you don't know. So I learned that in my late 50s. It took me a while. Yes, it did. And once I learned how to love myself, I said, if I would have known how to love myself, then things would have been a lot better for me. That's right, for me. Because to be transparent, I am some work, and I can be some work. Because when you don't understand the power of love and you don't understand relationships, see, my mistake was I thought I was in love. Then I thought I loved the person. I loved the person, but I wasn't for sure if I was in love. And see, back then, I got that, mixed up a little bit until I got my divorce and I learned that there are differences in being in love and loving someone. When you're young, in your 20s, you don't think about things like I'm talking about now. You just want to get your groove on. You glad you got your boo thing. You glad someone is with you and y'all making it happen. Y'all starting a family so you don't have to come home to an empty house with no sounds, no love, no laughter. See, in the 20s, that's what I thought love was. Because I had me somebody and that was it. And I thought, I had everything. I realized as I matured that being in love and having plenty of sex is not love. You can get that anywhere. You can get that anywhere. But being in my 20s, I didn't know that. I'm thinking, oh, I'm so in love. He's loving me. But now I know what love is. I have learned how to respect the power of love. See, first of all, it wasn't about the sex. Where I failed to realize that you have to develop a friendship and let that friendship turn into something else, more deeper, respectful, appreciated. You get the picture? But when I was young and in my 20s, it was just like, oh girl, we're gonna pop it tonight. You know what I mean? That's when you immature and don't know any better. But I went for the ride for 30 years almost. Yeah, that's right. Almost 30 years, 28 to be exact. But God had to turn things around. I went through a lot of things in life, learning and not knowing and just taking risks. And speaking of risks, I learned in my 50s that in order to love and realize and recognize exactly what love is, I'm talking about love and in love. When I realized that I just only love people, I can love people as a dear friend, as a close relative. I can love you, you know. I can go out and hang with you. But when you find a person that you're in love with, it goes deeper than that. And you would know. As you mature and progress along, you would know the difference of loving someone and in love. So you have to take risks. That's one thing that I have learned in my 50s and plus. That you have to take risks. But first, get to know that person as a friend. Don't be in a hurry to rush to get married or jump into bed, because that if you don't do it right, it won't last long. It won't last long. Y'all get tired of each other. You get tired of everything. But when you develop a friendship first, and that friendship may last a year, that friendship may last 2 years or more. It depends on you. Because one thing I learned in this journey after 50, that whatever I do now in my 60s, it has to be the best decisions that I have made in my entire life. Because one thing, we never know when our lifespan is over. So in my 60s, I'm not getting younger, I'm getting older. So I have to make wise decisions and go before God. And I learned in my 50s after my divorce. Let your will be done, Lord, and not mine. Because you know what's best for my life. And whatever you want, God, I want. Even if it means letting go of the person I thought I loved. Because one thing about it, God won't steer us wrong, and He knows what's best for us. So we may think that we're in love with this person. We may think that we love this person, but when we say yes, God is saying no. Because He knows that's not the right one for you. And you go to question God, why? I thought He was it. I thought this was it. So I learned to be very careful and distinguish between the voices that I hear. Because the Word of God say, God will come to us in a still small voice. And that intuition and our gut feeling We know, we already know that someone is not for us. We already know, but sometimes we are afraid to know the truth, and we begin to deny, making up all kind of excuses. That was me. Down through the years, God has showed me a lot of red flags, a lot of things that I wasn't doing and I supposed to be doing, and I supposed to be moving on and going forth, but I wanted to always put the car in reverse and go back instead of going forward. We know, but sometimes we're in denial. We don't want to hear the truth until we get smacked in the face by reality, or we hit rock bottom and can't see our way out. And then we want to listen to God. It's time for us to listen to God. Then we are obedient. After many, many years and sacrifices and situations and problems coming up in our life, we want to ignore and push everything aside and shake everything off and say, no, that wasn't God. But all the time it was God trying to get your attention and minds too. Let's just keep it real. So, I know that God has smiled on me and has given me many chances. So this go round, this journey, I have learned in my 50s to love unconditionally. Take the limits off. I have learned to be friends before anything else, because if you be friends, it can develop into a perfect relationship when God is in the midst of it. I have learned if my relationship and any other relationship that I be in, and they don't include God in it, you better run. If they never talk about God, if they never open and close a door for you, if they never pray over you and pray over and bless you and bless the things that you have accomplished, if they not your supporter, if they don't bless their food, it's just the simple things. It may not be as big as you think it is, but it is big in my heart to watch out for those things that I didn't know or wasn't aware of when I started out loving and when I thought I was in love. And it took me on a almost 30-year journey to learn all these. And then when I filed for divorce, that's when I started living life. It took me a while. I didn't start right then because I had to get past a lot of things, the hurt, the pain, and different things that we go through in life. But as God started healing me, and I had to work on myself, but I needed God's help because I knew I couldn't do it alone. And I said, I'm not going to be in no hurry for no relationship. I'm not going to be in hurry to fall in love. I'm not going to be in a hurry to love anyone but myself. Because one thing, I didn't want to go into a relationship hurting the other person. I didn't want to go into a relationship until I knew that I was fully recovered by God. I didn't want to go into a relationship sizing up and looking for fault in that person and comparing that person with my past relationship. I didn't want to do that. So these are the things that I learned, and I hope someone out there that is listening, I know you can agree with some of the things that I said, have said on here. I know you can, because you've been through it too. You know, you've been through some things. We all have. That's just the humanistic side of us. So, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. And like they say, when you know, excuse me, when you know better, you do better, right? So since I know better, I'm going to do better. Hope y'all enjoyed this. God bless.